In many civil cases, justice demands urgent protection before the final decision is made. Sometimes during a trial, there is an immediate need to halt an action or prevent a situation from getting worse. That's where Order 39 of the Civil Procedure Code comes into play. It specifically addresses temporary injunctions, a legal tool that can stop someone from causing harm, damage, or injustice while a case is ongoing. But what exactly is a temporary injunction and how does it work? Well, let me break it down for you. Picture this. You own a piece of land and somebody else claims they also own part of it. They start building a house on it without your permission. This situation can get complicated quickly. By the time the court reaches a decision about who rightfully owns the land, the person building might have already finished construction. If the court rules in your favor, it would be too late for you to stop them from living in the house. That's where a temporary injunction can step in. In this scenario, you can ask the court to temporarily stop the construction until the court decides the ownership dispute. Once the ownership is determined, the restrictions will be lifted. If the court finds that they own the land, they can continue building. If not, they'll have to remove the structure. Now let's take a look at the technical definition. A temporary injunction is a court order that stops someone from doing something until the court makes a final decision in a case. For example, if someone tries to sell a property that is being fought over, the court can stop the sale temporarily to protect the rights of the other party. There are two types of injunctions. First, we have a temporary injunction which falls under Order 39 of the Civil Procedure Code. And second, we have a permanent injunction which is covered by the Specific Relief Act. So to keep it simple, Order 39 only deals with temporary injunctions. Now let's dive into some key points about these temporary injunctions. These injunctions are designed to protect property or legal rights and prevent irreparable loss. They are also meant to maintain the status quo and ensure a fair trial. This means that the court will try to keep things as they are while the case is being decided so that neither party can take any action that would make it impossible for the other party to get a fair trial. For example, if one party is destroying evidence that is important to the case, the court can issue a temporary injunction to stop them from continuing. One of the main reasons for using temporary injunctions is to prevent irreparable loss. Irreparable loss refers to a situation where a party could not be compensated with money if their rights were violated. For instance, if someone destroys a rare and valuable painting, money cannot compensate for the loss of such a unique item. In cases like this, a temporary injunction might be used to stop the destruction from continuing. The court wants to make sure that no party can do something that cannot be undone, especially since money damages can't fix it. Another important reason for using these injunctions is to maintain the status quo. Status quo simply means keeping things as they are. In many cases, it is important to maintain the status quo while the case is being decided. This prevents any party from taking actions that could change the situation and make it more difficult to resolve the case fairly. For example, if two parties are disputing the ownership of a property and one party starts making repairs to the property without the consent of the other party, it could change the condition of the property and make it harder to determine who owns it. In this case, a temporary injunction might be used to stop the repairs until the ownership dispute is resolved. Maintaining the status quo also helps to ensure a fair trial because it prevents any party from taking actions that could unfairly benefit themselves. For example, if two parties are disputing the terms of a contract and one party starts taking actions that benefit themselves based on their interpretation of the contract, it could prejudice the other party and make it more difficult for them to get a fair trial. In this case, a temporary injunction might be used to stop the party from taking actions that benefit themselves until the court can decide what actions are allowed under the contract. The next important thing to remember is that temporary injunctions should not be used as a substitute for other court remedies. For example, if a party is seeking damages, they should not seek a temporary injunction to prevent the alleged wrongdoing just to stall the proceedings. Instead, they should file a lawsuit for damages and seek a resolution through that process. Using a temporary injunction to stall a case is considered an abuse of the court's power and can result in penalties against the party abusing the system. The CPC empowers courts to grant these injunctions in situations where property is at risk of being wasted or damaged. If the defendant threatens to dispossess the plaintiff wrongfully, the court can also intervene to prevent it. Additionally, if there is a strong likelihood of a breach of contract, the court can use injunctions to protect the rights of the non-breaching party. Moving on to Rule 2 of Order 39, it allows the court to restrain the repetition or continuation of an act that violates someone's rights. This rule is particularly useful when dealing with repeated or continuous violations of rights. For example, if someone keeps building something on your property without permission, even after you ask them to stop, you can apply for an injunction under Rule 2. Lastly, Rule 3 of Order 39 pertains to notice and ex parte injunctions. Normally, the opposite party should be notified before an injunction is granted. However, in urgent cases where providing notice would cause irreparable harm, the court can issue an ex parte injunction. This means that the injunction will be granted without giving the other party a chance to respond first. In such cases, it is important to note that the court must record its reasons for granting an ex parte order. You may be wondering why this is necessary. Well, it ensures that the court has a valid reason for taking such an action and prevents any abuse of power. It also provides a way for the other party to challenge the injunction if they feel it was not properly granted. And that's a quick breakdown of Order 39 of the CPC and its importance. I hope this explanation helps you understand this crucial aspect of civil procedure. Remember, these rules provide a valuable mechanism for protecting rights and ensuring justice. And that's all for today. See you soon with another informative video. Stay curious, stay engaged, and keep learning. Thanks for watching.